Augusta County Sheriff Donald Smith is under fire yet again for his relationship with convicted human trafficker Felix Chujoy. Recently, Breaking Through News released a recorded jail conversation between Chujoy and Smith that provoked serious further questions about their relationship and whether Smith lied to federal investigators or obstructed justice to protect his friend. Now Breaking Through has learned that the 2017 trial was not Chujoy's first run-in with the law. It wasn't even his first criminal trial. It seems it also wasn't the first time Smith decided to stand with Chujoy over the people of Augusta County. In 2012, according to circuit court records in Stanton, Chujoy was indicted for alleged indecent liberties with a 14-year-old boy and using a computer to solicit child sex. Now, it's hard to think of what could be worse than the sheriff of Augusta County supporting a person indicted for human trafficking over the federal government, but I think supporting a person indicted for child molestation offenses may just accomplish that task. In his statement released publicly on August 22nd, Sheriff Smith said, quote, "Felix and I met in 2010 when I was training and working out in Harrisonburg, and over several years, he and I became close friends and often hung out in our off time," end quote. So what was the true nature of Smith and Chujoy's relationship for the time Chujoy was under indictment for allegedly trying to molest a 14-year-old boy? I asked Sheriff Smith to please tell our viewers whether or not he knew about the child molestation charges. In response, we've heard nothing. I've asked Sheriff Smith to explain whether he interceded on Chujoy's behalf. Court records show that Judge Hume struggled with the disposition of this case and ultimately dismissed the case due to prosecution errors. Specifically, Hume said he wrote with a great deal of consternation, saying that, quote, "I am absolutely certain everybody in the courtroom knew exactly what Mr. Chujoy's intentions were," end quote. So how is it that Felix Chujoy gets so much good luck in court? He was facing decades in prison and sex offender registration in 2012 that he avoids due to a technicality. And in 2017, he is convicted of federal crimes which carry prison sentences up in the decades. Yet Chujoy served less than a year. During his time in jail, unlike other inmates, Chujoy calls Sheriff Smith and discusses tampering with witnesses. Breaking Through investigators caught up with Felix Chujoy, asking specifically about the nature of Chujoy's relationship currently with Sheriff Smith. Shockingly, we learned that the two are still close friends, and in fact, the sheriff has loaned Chujoy the use of his personal vehicle, according to Chujoy, within the last several weeks.
Is he still willing to help you out though? Like,
Yeah.
let you, like, and you said, what other than let you borrow his truck and all that, has he done anything else for you?
Primarily his truck, because that's kind of like I'm on my way to Stanton, and I had a flat tire the other day, things like that, where it's an emergency type of thing.
I understand.
I have seen several comments under our last report on the sheriff and Chujoy where viewers are suggesting that Chujoy and Sheriff Smith have a homosexual relationship and were much more than just friends. Now, I, for one, have no evidence of such a relationship, and I have asked the sheriff via email if such a relationship exists, or ever did exist. However, the sheriff has refused to confirm or deny that such a relationship existed. But what I can confirm is that in this particular case against Chujoy, the Commonwealth alleged that the child that Chujoy was allegedly soliciting online was a 14-year-old boy. The online interactions that the Commonwealth alleged were between Chujoy and the male child. Breaking Through News has obtained a file of the Commonwealth's evidence in this case from the Stanton City Circuit Court. And the details of this case are shocking and horrific. The online interactions that the Commonwealth alleged were between Chujoy and the male child will appear on the screen as I read them. Viewer discretion is advised, and it brings me great disgust to repeat what was allegedly transmitted between Chujoy and this child, but I have to repeat these words so our viewers can grasp the content of the Commonwealth's evidence. The prosecution's evidence consists of 20-plus pages of emails allegedly between Chujoy and the 14-year-old boy on Craigslist under personal ads for casual encounters. The two allegedly emailed back and forth under the subject, "I'm young and inexperienced and bored." According to prosecutors, Chujoy was going by the username Greg last name and reaches out to the boy first and says,
"Hey bud, how old are you? What are you into? I'm 20, 5'11", 165, 7-inch cut, bi and very discreet."
The boy responds,
"I'm 14, almost 15. I don't know, just bored, and bi, I'm 5'5", 130.
Greg last name, who prosecutors alleged was Felix Chujoy, asked the boy if he has a picture and where he would like to hang out. The boy responds,
I don't know, meet in a park or something. What all you into?
Greg last name says,
"Anything, you tell me. What have you done before?"
The boy then sends this picture clearly showing he is a child and just a little boy, and accompanies the picture with these words.
The pic was from last year. My aunt uploaded it. Don't laugh. I'm tiny. LOL. I don't know. I have made out with a guy and girl before, but nothing too far than that. But I want to experience more. I guess like what you're into, what you do.
Despite seeing the picture that this is a child, Greg last name responds to the boy.
"How old are you again? We could jerk off if you want. Would have to be soon though."
The boy responds,
I'm 14. Okay, that would be cool. How soon you want to do it?
Greg last name says,
Whenever. You got a number?
the boy
It's
says,
just a text phone. My mom is a piece of shit. You have internet all the time? Question mark?
Greg last name says,
We can text. What's your number?
the boy then tells him,
It's both me and my mom's, and she has work. I don't want her seeing our stuff. Hey, I gotta help my uncle. I'll email you later.
Greg last name says,
All right, too bad you can't meet up now.
the boy responds,
All right, email you later. I'm leaving the computer now. What about tomorrow? Question mark. Where you live? Question mark. I'm excited. This will be fun. What are you into besides jerking off? Question mark. Email you later.
Greg last name says,
Into anything, just not sure because of your age.
the boy says,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let you be then.
Greg last name says,
I mean, I'm down. I just don't want to corrupt you, LOL. You into girls at all? Question mark?
the boy doesn't respond until the next day on September 6th of 2012 at 8:02 a.m. The boy says,
Sorry, stayed at my uncle's last night. Corrupted me. LOL. I am some, I guess. What about you?
Same. When could you meet today?
the boy says,
Sometime this eve. I'm sure you live close to the parks. I can walk places. I need to just tell my mom I'm going out with friends, which she'd hardly hear. She works this eve anyways.
Greg last name says,
Well, we can hang out and just meet each other for now. Sound good? Question mark?
then the boy doesn't respond again to the next day, September the 7th, 2012 at 10:09 a.m. The boy says,
Yeah, it's cool, whatever. I don't want to make you uncomfortable because of my age. You seem to be fun to hang with.
Greg last name then says,
Cool. When do you want to hang?
the boy says,
Not sure what's good for you. What all you want to do. I'm cool with whatever.
Greg last name says,
Give me a place and time.
the boy says,
How soon you want to meet?
and then tells Greg last name his real name. Greg last name says,
Cool. We could meet now. We'll see how it goes, when and where.
the boy says,
See how it goes. Well, dang, I'm bored. Question mark. He. You not like me like you did earlier when we first start chatting. How close are you to Stanton?
then Greg last name says,
Not too far. When and where. I'm just not a big fan of nonstop chit chat through email. Sorry.
Greg last name continues to be pushy and says,
So you want to or not?
the boy says,
I do, but I wish I could get to know you on here and knew what all we getting into, like what you had in mind.
Greg last name says,
I just wanted to meet, man. You're looking into this too much. This isn't such a big deal.
the boy says,
Okay, I'm sorry. I wish I was a man, but I'm new to this and just want to know what all goes on when you meet other men.
Greg last name says,
It depends on whether I'm into them at all or not. We could just hang out and walk around the park and talk or something, or we could just go trade some head.
the little boy writes back,
Trade some head? Question mark. How's that work?
Greg last name says,
We suck each other off. Come on, dude. You want to meet or not?
and I think that's about all I can read without becoming completely disgusted to the point that I won't be able to finish this report. These emails speak for themselves, and I don't think there's any more need for me to elaborate on what you just heard and read. In light of these new shocking facts about the sheriff, Chujoy, and Chujoy's child sex indictments, Breaking Through brings you a deeply troubling ruling in a current local case involving child pornography. The latest screw-up in the Augusta County Sheriff's Office under Sheriff Donald Smith stems from a Monday, September 9th, 2019 ruling by an Augusta County Circuit Court judge overseeing a serious child pornography case. Augusta County Circuit Court Judge Chapman Goodwin sided with 34-year-old child porn suspect Damian Usler and his attorney and ordered the suppression of over 20,000 images of alleged child pornography that were found on a hard drive that prosecutors say belonged to Usler. The judge made his ruling on a motion filed by Usler's defense attorney that states the Augusta County Sheriff's Office violated Usler's Fourth Amendment rights by holding on to the hard drive for more than 40 days without ever getting a search warrant for the device and then searched the hard drive without a warrant. In the motion, Usler's attorney argued that because of the improper search and the length of the seizure, there were issues of possession and privacy with the evidence on the hard drive. Judge Goodwin sided with Usler and his attorney, so because of the alleged incompetence of the Augusta County Sheriff's Office under Sheriff Donald Smith, 20,000 images have been suppressed by the judge and cannot be used as evidence at Usler's February 28, 2020 trial, where he faces over 100 child porn charges. So a suspected criminal facing decades in prison may walk due to the alleged incompetence of the Augusta County Sheriff's Office under Sheriff Donald Smith. If it isn't one thing, it's another. This reporter has asked Sheriff Smith to comment on this matter and his relationship with Felix Chujoy. In fact, I have reached out to the sheriff several times for comment. The sheriff's silence does little to curb the concern over the sheriff's relationship with a convicted labor trafficker. For those that don't know exactly who Felix Chujoy is, he is Sheriff Smith's good friend who used other inmates' PIN numbers while incarcerated to call Donald Smith. Chujoy made 9 calls to Smith using this method, but when interviewed by federal agents, Smith only admitted to receiving 1 call from Chujoy. Breaking Through News played one of those calls for our viewers, and during the call, Smith tells Chujoy, who was incarcerated at the time for suspected human trafficking, that he didn't tell the feds anything. Chujoy eventually pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting and was found guilty by a jury on 3 felonies, which were witness tampering, conspiracy to witness tampering, and witness tampering and obstruction. On the same day Chujoy was convicted, Carolyn Edlin was convicted of 2 counts of witness tampering and obstruction of justice. Edlin was convicted because while Chujoy was in jail and calling Donald Smith, he was also calling and asking Edlin to speak to Mike Kiewitowski. Kiewitowski was another person that the feds were questioning in the Chujoy case. Edlin did as Chujoy said and invited Mike Kiewitowski to dinner and told him to tell the feds that he did not know anything. What Edlin did not know is that Kiewitowski had met with federal agents and was recording their whole conversation. We obtained the transcript of a recorded conversation set up by Special Agent Lynn Witt, where Kiewitowski takes a recording device to a restaurant to meet Carolyn Edlin and her husband Gary Edlin. The transcript is 50 pages long. So Kiewitowski, Edlin, and her husband are at dinner discussing Felix Chujoy. Miss Edlin says, "I want to kill him, but anyhow, and he told you back in November or something that he murdered somebody." Kiewitowski says, "He what? Question mark?" Miss Edlin says, "Murdered somebody. He told you that and you believed it. Question mark?" Kiewitowski says, No. He told me about that thing that you told me about the Augusta County Police and like the sting operation. And when I asked him about it, and I was like, "What did you do?" He wouldn't tell me. That's when I was like, "Is it as bad as killing somebody?" He was like, "Pretty much." Miss Edlin says, "Well, the idiot was..." No. Kiewitowski says, "Oh." Miss Edlin says, "The idiot was looking for a hot date is all I'm going to say, and it was a child porn ring that he got himself on by accident." Was the child porn ring referenced by Edlin the Stanton charges, or was there a ring involving child pornography that Chujoy was caught in? What did Sheriff Smith know about this, and did he use his influence in any of these cases to help Chujoy the way he did in the federal human trafficking case? And that, folks, is how this reporter discovered the sheriff's close friend's prior sex charges, by reading hundreds and thousands of court documents. What other secrets is Sheriff Donald Smith hiding? Since the sheriff isn't talking, we can't give you the total answer right now. But you can best believe we will keep asking the questions, and I will follow this story wherever it takes me. In the Breaking Through Newsroom, Theodore Whitelow, Breaking Through News.